she had an LAF, and I guess you must have reset her.
All right. Welcome, Eagles. Congratulations, you made it. Yay, you did it. You're here for our student orientation. You student orientation. Yeah, come on. Y'all have to be happy about this. You need to be excited. You're about to start classes. They're coming up pretty soon, and we want to make sure they have as much information as you can possibly give you so that you are successful here at Central Texas College. My name is Mariceli Santiago. I am the Director of Student Life and Activities, and that means that I get to be the first one to welcome y'all. Yay! I hope that you are excited about the opportunity that we are giving you to meet with each other, to see other people, to meet some of our staff. I was starting to meet some of y'all. We have a whole world represented here. We have people from Poland, Germany, Canada, Georgia, Washington State, all over. So I am very excited. And of course, we have our Texas peeps. Can't leave them out. Fort Hood, Copperas Cove, Harker Heights. And we're excited that you are all here today because the whole purpose of this is try to figure out how we can help you be successful. And if you don't know how to make that happen, then please ask questions. We are going to give you the opportunity to get as many answers as possible. Ask your questions, get it clarified, and we're going to go from there. Hopefully, so that you can be successful and are excited to be here. But before we continue, there are some individuals that want to say hi. I am not the only one that wants to say hi. So up next to say hi to you guys is going to be Dr. Robin Garrett. She is the Deputy Chancellor that oversees making sure that all of the students are successful at Central Texas College. And that is her main goal. And she wants to say hi to you guys. So take it away, Dr. Garrett.
Thank you so much, Mariceli. Yes, I do want to say hi, and I want to say welcome to all of you. And we're so happy that you've chosen Central Texas College to pursue your education. On behalf of the entire executive team, meaning our chancellor and the other two deputy chancellors that the three of us work together to support all areas of the college, we want to say thank you for choosing us and welcome to CTC. You have the most amazing faculty and staff that are here to support you throughout your journey at CTC. Never, ever be afraid to pick up the phone, send an email, ask your questions, because that's what we're here for, to help you be successful. We want you to do everything you can, but you know that we know that students need help sometimes. They need somebody to reach out to. And everybody on this call, the reason they're on this call is because they care about you. So thank you again and welcome to CTC. And now you're an Eagle. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful orientation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garrett. We always are very happy to have you welcome all of our students. Thank you for being here once again to support them. And now you get to talk to the dean that oversees all of you being successful and wants to make sure that all of you are successful, because we have a whole gamut of people that just want that. Literally, it's in their title, guys. Student success. This is Dean Julie Starkey, our Dean of Student Success and Persistence.
Hey guys, welcome. And I want to echo what Dr. Garrett said. Just welcome to CTC. I'm so glad you're an Eagle and you're going to be part of us. I know some of you probably are already in classes. Some of you are starting them. Regardless where you are through your journey, you're going to find the information that we give you today, I think, very informative, very helpful. And who you're going to hear from that I think is going to be really beneficial is we have several amazing faculty who are here are going to be talking to you, and I'm so glad that they're joining you and going to be able to talk with you. I want to give you just a couple things. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't give you couple of tips to be successful, and they're really basic things, and I know the faculty are going to go into way more detail, but I got to give you a few just to start this day off right. Number one, I want you to commit to going to class every single day and logging into all of your classes regularly, if it's online or SVL or whatever it is. Your faculty are going to explain to you why that's so important. You're not going to do well if you don't commit to this experience, and really make it a part of your schedule. And being a student is hard work, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think the faculty are going to tell you that too. But step one is just showing up and doing the work. I want you to turn in everything. They're going to talk to you a lot about your syllabus, and this is your contract from your faculty to you about what's going to happen in your class. And they're going to outline everything. And part of that syllabus is they're going to go over a lot of the assignments that are due. And you're going to look at some and go, oh, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do this. Or is that really that important, guys? You want to fight for every single point you can get in a class. And so I want you right here, right now, to commit to turning everything in. I don't care what you think. I want it all turned in. I want you to use the resources, and you're going to hear a lot about our resources. And most of our resources, they're not only are they here on campus, but we offer them virtually. We offer them online. We want to talk with you. We want to help you. And you're going to learn a lot about those, whether they be support services that are going to help you be successful, or tutoring, or different things, the library. You're going to learn a lot about all of those things, and I want you to use them day one. I don't want you to wait until 3 months into your career. I want you to use them day one, and I want you to get comfortable saying, hey, I'm here and I need help, because that's what we're here for. But you got to tell us, I need help, and then we'll figure it out and go from there. And the last thing I want to ask you to do is get to know your faculty, because they are your number one resource, and you're going to meet a lot of them today. But you got to get to know your faculty. You got to ask them questions. You've got to read their syllabus, and you've got to heed the amazing advice that they give you. Guys, ask your questions today. That's what we're here for. Put them in the chat, reach out, let us know. We're going to stay here all day long and talk to you and answer those questions. So keep them coming, because that's what we're here for. Have a great semester. And I look forward to meeting you, getting to know you, but most of all, I look forward to seeing you at graduation, because I know I'm going to see you all again there. All right. I'm going to give it back to Mariceli.
Thank you, Dean Starkey. All right, guys. So there's a few things. Let's just go over some basics that everybody needs to know. First of all, if you have any questions, if you're watching this, we are streaming this live on Facebook as well. So you are welcome to type in any questions that you may have on Facebook. Or if you're joining us through our WebEx, please type any of your questions. This is for college classes. Yes, Roman. This is for you. If you're starting college classes soon, please go ahead and listen to what we have to say. This is exactly what you need to be listening to. I'm going to show you a quick agenda of today, what it kind of looks like, what the plan is at least, so you know what to expect. And so if you notice here, today we're going to have our welcome. We're going to overview what Blackboard is and how important that is for everybody. We're going to have a faculty panel where you're going to meet some of our faculty. We're going to talk about Eagle Mail and how important that is, and you'll hear that throughout today, but you'll hear more a little bit later, more specifics. We're going to have somebody from academic advising coming to talk to you so that you know what it is that you need to do if you need to change your degree plan, or if you don't have a degree plan yet. We're going to get you rolling with that. Our campus police, Chief Barragan, he is our chief of campus police. And even if you guys are not here in Texas, he can talk about safety. He talks about safety in general, which is very important for everybody. We want to talk about conduct and resources that are available for you. And then we're going to have a Q&A, make sure that we have everything answered for you. Oh, I put 4 to 5, but it's really probably going to be 3 to 4. So that is the plan for today, guys. If you have questions, we have quite a few people ready to answer any of your questions in the chat. So please go ahead and put all of that in there. Ooh, we have people. I forgot about financial aid, but yes, financial aid is talking too. I skipped financial aid. I'm so sorry. But yes, we're going to talk about financial aid too. But now I am going to ask Dr. Reese, you ready? All right, I'm going to ask Dr. Angela Reese. She is from the business department. Now, guys, there's a few, just so you know, Dr. Reese, we have somebody from culinary. We have somebody with logistics background, a few people. We have a innovative entrepreneur in here too. They want to know all about business. So I know you're going to talk about Blackboard today and what Blackboard means. But guys, if you have any questions about business, she's one to ask. Take it away, Dr. Reese. Can't hear you. Are you calling in? Are you, Dr. Reese, are you calling in? No. Okay, just making sure because I just muted somebody called in. Yeah, but we cannot hear you. No. All right, while she is figuring this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about Eagle Mail, and I'm going to show you a quick video while she is getting that. Let me talk. Eagle Mail is the way that we actually communicate with you. It is an email that we have for our students. I am going to go ahead and show you a quick video about it while she's getting that squared away.
I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, just told to be here. I'm tired. Hey, how you? Hey, Jim. Where? Oh, shit.
All righty then. Give me a second, guys.
That's just a quick reminder, if you're
All
not presenting,
right,
please mute
so
yourself so we
let's
don't
see
hear those
here.
expletives.
I'm
Thank you.
hearing somebody talk. I don't know if you know, but everybody needs to go ahead and mute yourselves. Okay, Dr. Reese, I see you here a few times, right? I hear something. I think it's you. Go ahead. Nope, I don't hear you there.
How about now?
Yes,
Okay.
but it echoes, so you need to mute the other one.
Let me just a second.
Hey,
How's
Maricela.
that?
Maricela, can you go ahead? We've gotten, since they
better?
watched the email, the Eagle Mail, we've gotten a lot of questions in the chat about when they
Yes.
get their Eagle Mail account. Can you go ahead and talk to them about that before we turn it over to Dr. Reese, since we got a lot
Yes.
of those questions?
So the Eagle Mail is the way, it's an email that we give you, each and every one of our students, right? You're going to get it after the census date. It's kind of weird because the census date is a little bit different for each class, especially those of you that are not in Texas are probably taking classes that are either 8 weeks versus 16 weeks. And so the census date is a little bit different. You can talk to your faculty member wherever you're located and ask them what the census date. They will be able to tell you based on your class. But shortly after the census date, you're going to get to the email that you use to apply for CTC. You're going to get an email that's going to tell you, hey, here's how you're going to log in. And it's going to give you the information so that you can access your Eagle Mail. Once you have an Eagle Mail, that's how we're going to start communicating with you, not necessarily through that email that you received at the beginning or that you input when you did your admissions. Also, in our area of student success and persistence, we try to send out a text to everybody and let them know, hey, it's past your census date and it's time for you to go ahead and log into your Eagle Mail, make sure that you're logging in and you have everything squared away. So I'm not sure if I answered all the questions, but that's the short version of it. Dean Starkey, did I answer everything? Yes? Okay, thank you. So if you have any other questions about that, please let us know. We're going to keep typing those in the chat. Dr. Reese, you want to try again?
Can you hear me now?
Who is sharing and why?
I
That's
am.
you, but you're sharing
Me.
directly. Okay.
Can you
As
hear
long as
me?
it's you. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome.
It's a little
Eagles,
faint
and
though, so I don't know if you can get a little closer.
a little closer. How's that? I'm gonna turn
Better.
off my video
Thank
so
you.
I can get close to the. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome Eagles. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to get to be a part of this. And I am going to give you a little bit of information about Blackboard. This is our virtual classroom. So for those of you who are brand new, I see a couple people that have already taken some classes, but for those of you who you're like, okay, what's going on? How am I going to take my classes? I'm going to show you how to use Blackboard, which is our virtual classroom. So the first question is, how do I even get there, right? And I saw lots of questions. When do I get to access it? Well, you don't get to access classes until 3 days prior to it starting. So if your class starts on March 20th, you will not have access until the Friday prior to that, which would be St. Patrick's Day or March 17th. So keep that in mind as well. So I am now going to walk you through how to get there. There's lots of ways to take this journey, but I'm just going to show you one that's fairly easy to remember. You go to our homepage, ctcd, as in district.edu. You're going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to try not to make anybody too dizzy with my scrolling. All the way at the bottom, we've got some helpful links, quick links, resources down here at the bottom, and you will see that Blackboard is one of them. So once you see this one, you can click on it, and it's going to take you to the Blackboard login screen. Now, this is one that you can actually save. So if for whatever reason the web page is down for a minute or two and you're unable, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get to Blackboard? Well, you save this. So you'll save ctc.blackboard.com to your browser. And we highly encourage you to either use Chrome or Firefox. Excuse me. Do not use Internet Explorer. It will not work. You will not be able to see things. So then we say, okay, well, I'm ready to log in. How do I do that? Well, you have a username and password, even if you don't realize it. So your username is your CTC ID number. If you don't know what your CTC ID number is, you click on Blackboard login instructions and Blackboard username lookup. So when I go to my username lookup, I am able to type in my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and then it's going to give me my CTC ID. So from there, I go back, I type in my username, I type in my password, and then magically, here we are into Blackboard. Now, mine is going to look just a little bit different than yours. And let me go ahead and tell you, this is just a quick 10-minute overview. This is not going to be an in-depth overview of Blackboard. We do have that. We have a recording of it, which once I'm finished with this, I'm going to copy that link into the chat so that at the time, if you think, well, this is not enough, I need some more details here, then you can go through and look at it that way. So now what you're going to look for is where your courses are. You can see here that these are all the courses that I currently have access to. I'm currently a teacher for. So I'm going to go into this one. You know, it hasn't started yet. So I'm going to go into this one that starts after spring break. So here we are, business students. This is business principles, and just another shout out for this class. This is one that most anybody can take because it's a part of the core curriculum. Subject area 090, I believe. So if you want to just know a little bit about business, because everybody's going to be working for a business at some point, whether it's yours or somebody else's, this is just a great introductory course. So when you get into Blackboard, most of your instructors will have it going to the announcement page. This is where a lot of us will give you information, quick review, all kinds of great things that you want to make sure that you look over every time you come into the class. Some instructors will communicate with you this way, some through your email, some through course messages. So make sure once you get in here, you really review how your instructor wants you to communicate with them. I'm going to go over just a couple of areas that are most commonly used by all of us. Again, the announcements are here. On the left-hand side, you will see that there are announcements, messages, instructor information, the syllabus. These areas here are pretty standard for any class. So I'm going to hit on those. And then below it, I just want to point out to you, these are different areas that your instructor may or may not have. So it might say lessons, it might say weekly assignments, it might say units, but we all have some form of showing you what the lessons are. Below that are specific instructions for specific assignments. So for example, I have article reports. In your class, it might say research paper or group conversations, something like that. So again, I'm just going to go over a couple of these here. Start Here is just a good place the very first time you log into Blackboard. You can go here and you can look over just a variety of different resources. We have a plagiarism test, understanding how to see your grades. All of these great things are here for you under Start Here. Below that, I'm going to come back to BioSig at the end. We've already talked about the announcements. The messaging tool feature here, you can create a message to basically anybody in the course. I'm not going to show you what this looks like because this is a course that has students in it. But if I were to click on create message, it would show me not only my own name, I could send myself a message, or I could send anybody in the class or the entire class a message. So you definitely want to check here when you log in as well. Instructor info is going to give you information about your instructor, how to get a hold of them, what to do if you can't get a hold of them, and their office hours. Now, the meat and the potatoes, the Bible of the course, is syllabus page 1 and syllabus page 2. This is your roadmap to success. This is how you know what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, when things are due, how the course is delivered to you. So syllabus page 1 is typically the same in every course, meaning that we have our outcomes, our course materials that you might need for the course, the extension policy, frequently asked questions, those types of things. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. These are things that you're going to want to go over in each of your classes. Now, syllabus page 2, this is one that I highly encourage you to print out. This is one that you need to reference and reference frequently. The very first thing that you want to look at is the delivery terms. The delivery terms here tells you if it's self-paced or if it has required due dates. So meaning self-paced has a start and an end date, and then everything else is recommended that you complete at a certain time. You might have a course that says this is not a self-paced course, meaning there are specific due dates for every single assignment. It might say this is blended, meaning you are half time in the classroom and half time online, or it might say it's a lecture course that just happens to use Blackboard. You will also see that we have a start and an end date listed here. And then this very important area that I'm highlighting right now, this says, I'm just going to read it to you because it's so important. Per CTC procedure, even in self-paced courses, you must complete at least one classroom activity within that first week of the course, or you could be dropped, even in self-paced. So this is extremely important that you do this within that first week of class. Below that, this again is going to be your roadmap, your schedule of assignments and when they are either due or when they are suggested to be due. So you can go through and see every single assignment, when the due date is. And if it were me, I would print this off and I would highlight when I was working on it, and I would put a check mark when I was finished with it. So you find a system that works for you. That's just what happens to work for me. You also have your exam information, and then of course a great area of what your grading component is going to be. So how do I get that A, right? What am I going to have to do in order to get the A? Well, you can see here all of the components of the course. Now I'm going to go back up and I'm going to head over to our and talk about BioSig. So the BioSig ID, this is something that you will have in almost every one of your classes. If it's online, it will be in every course. So you will have a BioSig ID that you create one time. So those of you who have already taken a class, you've already created it, so you should know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who have not yet, you're going to create one. It's going to be your ID from here throughout your entire time with CTC. Basically, it is telling us you are who you say you are. So I have had the exact same ID for 10 years now, how long we've been using it. So if you want to learn more about it, more than what I'm telling you right here, you can read over this page. Again, that's the BioSig enrollment ID page. You can also watch a video to talk about exactly how to do this and what that's going to look like. So now I'm going to show you, pretend that you've already done it. This is what you're going to see when you go to the lessons in my class. It's going to show you that you need to verify that BioSig ID. So once you have created it, then you will need to say, yes, I am who I say I am in every class. So I'm going to have to set this down. So you're not going to see me for a second, but you'll still see my screen. I'm going to draw in my BioSig ID. And you can use the exact same one that I do, or you can use something totally different, 3 lowercase L's and a capital L. And now you can see that it's verifying I am who I say I am. And now all of my lessons are released. So you can almost bet that you will have this at some point, if not in multiple points in your class. So for me, I use it in my lessons and then also on all of my exams. So you can't take an exam until you've done that. The other thing that we do have connected to our exams, or at least a large majority of them, is BioSite ID. So at this point, when you're taking the exam, it's actually going to use a blurred image of yourself. So it's not going to be a clear image of where you're at. It'll be blurred. But you basically just have to be within the screen the entire time you're taking your exam, so that we know, again, that you are the person there. There are not multiple people there that are taking the exam with you. It is just you and you alone. So be prepared for that as well. If you do not have a camera on your computer and you are not close to main campus to where you could use some of our computers, we do have ways to help you with that, to utilize either an iPad or a phone or something of that nature. So with that, just a quick overview of what that is, how to use it, what it looks like. And then one other thing that I want to point out to you to track your progress is show you what my grades looks like. So this, you can see how you are doing in the course. So you can see the name of the assignment as well as how many points are connected to that assignment. And then on the right-hand side over here, not only do you have what this courses are, what the assignments are, but you have the point value. So right now you see there's a dash over 25. So if I were to turn in this assignment, it would show a white exclamation point inside of a yellow circle. That means I've completed it. If I did some of the assignment, but I didn't do all of the requirements for it, then it would have a blue circle. That blue circle tells you, the student, and me, the instructor, you're not finished. So as an instructor, I'm not going to grade it. Then when I do go in and grade it, it's going to give you a number. If I have a rubric, you will see the little rubric like under my discussion board right here, discussion board 1, chapter 2. I could click on the rubric and see the rubric. And then there will also be a little conversation bubble to the next of it, to where you can click and see my feedback. So again, quick overview of Blackboard. Marceli, do we have any questions or anything I need to show again?
I don't see any that have come. I mean, we've answered. Most of it has to do with when
Okay.
they're going to have access.
Gotcha. So just as a reminder, guys, you will have access 3 days prior to the course beginning. You will not have access any sooner than that. Every once in a while, I've seen students pop in early morning, versus late afternoon, but that's when you will have access.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Unless there's any other questions, anything else? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Can you see me though? Because I had a little problem with my.
No.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Yes and no. Cool. All right. So thank you, Dr. Reese. I think we're going to go ahead and just kind of transition a little bit more. And we're going to talk about our faculty panel, which is one of the best ways for us to be able to have confirmation and be able to meet some of our faculty. Of course, you have just met Dr. Reese. She's been talking to you for a little bit, but we also have Professor Summers and Mr. Flaherty here somewhere. I know.
Hello.
Hello. I don't see Professor Summers. I see that she's there, but I don't see her face. Is she listening?
She just said hello in the chat.
Oh, she said hello. Okay. So, Professor Summers, I don't know if you have a camera or not, but that's okay. If you can, great. If not, then we'll keep going. Professor Flaherty, can you kind of do a quick introduction of yourself? I know we had a few people online that were part of your program, so I really want to make sure that you introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. My name is Corwin Flaherty. I'm a faculty member in Office Technology. I teach medical coding and billing over there. I've been at the college for over 6 years now, which is crazy. I'm a student myself still. I'm in a doctoral program. I commiserate with you, with the deadlines and the assignments and having to, be mad at my professors. So, even after this little panel, I'll give my information out. At any point in your academic career, feel free to reach out. My email is always open. You can always call me, and I will talk with you and help guide you on your academic career, because I know that this can be, especially confusing, especially if it's your first time and you're the first person in your family to go to school. It can be pretty daunting sometimes. So, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. I don't know if Professor Summers can at least speak, but if not, then if you can at least help us in the chat. I believe you're a science professor. And so it's one of those, almost every degree plan has a science component to it. And so she'll help answer through the chat if you have any questions with regards to that. So, Professor Flaherty, I'll start with you. Again, what would be the one tip that you would give every single student, regardless of what degree they're in, that they need to be aware of?
So we kind of covered it a little bit, but the syllabus, I think, is definitely the most important document that you need to pay attention to as a student. It's essentially, your professor, your instructor's contract with you as the student. To dovetail off of that, I think using checklist is the specific academic tool that I would recommend. Looking at that syllabus and then building out a checklist for yourself for the course, and then using that to sort of keep track of what you're doing, and just to set little mini goals for yourself. You can kind of train your brain to get that little hit of dopamine every time you check something off of that list. It can really be rewarding, and it keeps you more organized. And if you're like me, when I have a lot of things to do, it can feel overwhelming, and it can make it seem like I have all of this things to do. How am I going to get everything done? And when you organize it into that list format, it sort of structures it in such a way that now I don't have to think so hard about like, well, what do I do next? It removes some of that choice paralysis, because you just have that organized checklist that you can go through. Checklist is the thing I recommend most to people. It's my aviation background coming out.
Haha. Yes. Perfect. So, Dr. Reese, I know you already spoke a lot, but about a lot of really great tips that students need to know. But if you had to highlight one would it be?
I bet you know what it's going to be. Communication. You have to communicate. You have to talk to us. You have to interact with us. I mean, technically, you don't have to, but we highly encourage it. Not only do you need to be but ask questions when you have them. You are going to have questions. I have a course that has required due dates. Right now, it's a 16-week course. We are in week 8. Somebody messaged me today saying, I don't know how to access my book. Week 8 of 16 weeks. I just got that message. It was a very easy fix, but for whatever reason, they didn't feel comfortable in reaching out to me. So please, we are here to support you. We love hearing from our students, whether it is through email or through messages in class, or you call the department. We are here to support you. So if there is something that you need help with, even if it's something that doesn't pertain specifically to my class, it's just Blackboard in general, ask me. Please ask me. I had a student that the very first week said, I can't figure out how to submit the case study. So I said, this is exactly what to do. I sent screenshots so that they knew how to and to feel comfortable. And then they said, I know that it went through, but can you please tell me that it went through? So I'm like, absolutely, of course. So whether it is about the subject itself, whether it is about CTC, whether it is about technology, we truly are here to support you. And if you find one person that you feel comfortable with, please reach out to us. Continue to. I love hearing from my students even far after the course has ended. So communication is key.
Great. We have some people on Central Campus, and we have some people here that are worldwide that doesn't, actually watching this right now. So we want to make sure that that we kind of include everybody in these answers. But did you have something, Professor Flaherty?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna double down on that point from Dr. Reese, because yeah, I mean, communication is so vital, but also that piece of, us being here to support the students, like that. I mean, that's what we're paid to do, right? So, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. That is what we're doing. And it's it took me a long time in my academic career to finally feel comfortable enough to, like, start reaching out to people, and to start reaching out to my fellow classmates too, which is a very important resource to take advantage of, to build those connections. But that's so important. Like, one of the best things that comes out of your college, your academic experience, is going to be those connections that you make, because you're going to school with people that are also going to school for the same thing you are. And industry, whatever industry you're going into, it's a small world, and so you're building those connections, and that you're building that network now. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. It's very important that you make those contacts, and you stay in contact with people, with us, as the faculty, but also your classmates, because those are the people that are going to be your peers as you move through the workforce. So it's very important to make those connections now.
Yes, I know that me hearing faculty in general, and even us in the administration, when we're trying to reach students, just trying to give them help or assistance, like, are you okay? And there's no response. It's very, very frustrating. So communication definitely is a big highlight. Now, we usually have a lot of questions with regards to what like materials. And I know you went over it a little bit, Dr. Reese, but usually, like, what should students expect in terms of each class? How do they figure out what materials they need, or what it is that they need to do to have what they need to be able to complete their courses?
So there's a lot of different places that you can find this information. We do have instructional materials, resources on our website, and then of course the bookstore. The bookstore will not even release what books are needed until we get closer to time for the course beginning. Because things do change. And so they are very careful to make sure that their list is accurate. And then another place that is the most important place is in your syllabus on page 1. So right underneath that, the course description and learning outcomes, it's going to give you the course materials that you do need for the course. So for example, the course I showed you was an OER, Open Educational Resource book. It's free. So all you have to do is click on the link in class to get your book. And I would definitely say, in addition to looking at the bookstore to see what's available, make sure to also check in the course, just double check. And if there's a discrepancy, because mistakes happen, I mean, they happen to me, so I know they happen to other people, just make sure to reach out to us if you have any issue. And sometimes if you're not using financial aid and you are paying for your books out of pocket, you can access or pay for the ebook much cheaper in one of your courses than you could through the bookstore. So for example, I have several that are only $25 for the ebook that you rent the time that you are in the course.
So we have a question with regards, we have a lot of the military students that, and a lot of them right now, like I mentioned earlier, we have Germany, Poland, or just even with their CONUS, they're in a military installation. They may not get books until a few weeks after class begins, or at least it takes that long, a few weeks for them to get a book. What would you recommend them, especially if you're in your online class or something along those lines?
I'm going to go back to communicate. Make sure that your instructor knows immediately. And for those of you who are going to start the 20th, and let's just say you're in my class, I would say send me an email now so that I can start talking to you about things that you can do. I can speak for the business department and say that in our courses, if it is not a class that you can, purchase the book directly in the course, or it's a free resource, we do have agreements with our publishers to give you access to the course material for a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on the course, until you have time to get the books. I even have some to where they give us the PDF of the first several chapters that are provided to you.
Yeah, so it says, I've emailed my instructor, but I've heard nothing yet.
So one thing I will tell you, some people are still having an issue with their emails. We have enacted some protocols that heighten security. And so people that are not close to main campus are still trying to work through their emails. So for example, the 33 people that work for me, only 15 of them are able to access their emails. So what I would do is I would look up the department web page, and I would call the department and say, I've emailed my professor. I understand that there's some email issues. Can you please have them reach out to me? And then that way the department can reach out to your instructor for you.
If for some reason, like she said, she doesn't have access to a phone because of where she's located,
Oh.
then maybe could they email then like the office assistant for the department or something along those
Yes.
lines?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, or if there is a CTC location near you, definitely contact them. I would say probably. Do CTC offer a book bundle? All books are covered under one set of price per credit hour. It
No,
depends on the class, right?
No, yeah, so some colleges have all the materials are included as part of your curriculum. Like when you pay for your credits, they have a contract with one publisher or another. CTC does not have that because we have such a variety of programs at the college that it would be very difficult for us to establish that kind of contract because we have the academic side of the house, and we have the career side of the house, and then we have a ton of different programs here at the college. So that's more of an issue of we're just such a wide variety of curriculum here that we really couldn't support something like that. But we do have a lot of classes and a lot of departments have individual contracts with publishers. So I can speak from our department. Most of our materials are $50 for the ebooks. And so you can get that ebook for pretty low cost. And again, that's why you want to check with your instructor before you purchase any materials, because they may recommend that you purchase it directly through the course for that reason, because that's how they are able to offer that reduced cost for the ebooks. And if you are purchasing it out of pocket, because you still need to use the bookstore if you're using your TA funds. But yeah, I think that's what that question was referring to.
Okay. Yeah. If they don't know their instructor, who it is, that's something that should be in their Eagle self-service, I believe, right?
Yes.
But that's something that sometimes does occur, is that we have the Eagle self-service, and that's where you can find what your faculty's name is. And if nothing else, if you still don't, then the department usually can help you figure out how to get a hold of them so that you can know if you tell them what your class is, they can help you figure out who your professor is. I know that you're not math professors, but it says the math access code cards are listed as out of stock. Is it just too early to purchase those, or are they truly possibly out of stock?
I would say reach out to the department for that one as well. Either call them or email the office assistant, and they will be able to look into it for you.
Yes. Okay.
We'll post the email address for the math department in just a second in the chat, so watch for it.
Thank you. Yes. It's kind of a challenge sometimes to be able to. We have a lot of individual departments, and they all have their little nuances, but for the most part, most of them work the same. If you still want to purchase the textbooks, is the VA covering that, or are funds sent to the veteran directly? I don't know if you know that one.
I do not know the answer to that.
So the way that it works for VA, it depends on what program you're using specifically. So if VRE, Voc Rehab has like its own specific rules, but if you're using post 9/11, generally the way that it works is you'll get your regular stipend, and you'll get a little extra book stipend at the beginning of the semester, and that's how that'll work for your VA funding. It varies. It was like 350 when I was still using my VA benefits, I think is what you got. But it varies. You'll have to reach out specifically to the VA office for specific guidance on that, though.
Thank you. Let me see.
I see one. I see.
Just so that everybody knows, Dr. Reese is a multitasker. And she just came out of a meeting in the middle of nowhere to be able to be on board with this. And we greatly appreciate her working with us to make sure that she's giving you guys all this information. So we love her for being here and working through it. So thank you very much, Dr. Reese.
Of course. I'm sorry. I kept hitting the button. Like, I always tell my mom, don't keep hitting it over and over. Well, here I am being my mom, who's fabulous. I love her. But I did see a question about courses being pre-recorded and if you can watch them later. That is going to be completely up to the delivery mode of the course in which you're in. Some classes are going to require you. If it's an online class, there's not required times to be there, but they might require you to watch a video. They might have a live session that if you can be at, great. And if not, then they might require you to watch that video. So it really is going to be dependent upon how the instructor has that course set up. Look at the syllabus.
Yes. I know that you, can we talk a little bit about the different modes of instruction? Because I know even between your two departments, there's multiple ways that you offer classes. And so I think between the two of you, you pretty much cover almost everything that we have on campus. So if you could just kind of take a moment and kind of walk us through that, that'd be great.
Sure. Since mine's unmuted, I'll go ahead and talk right now. So there are, like she said, a variety. So that syllabus page 2, I was telling you about, the very top of it, it says your delivery terms. That is where you see the type of course that you are in. So I will speak to at least the most common ones. So we have a lecture course, which means you have to go at a certain day, a certain time to be a part of that lecture. And then you will also see some that are OBL, meaning that they are blended, meaning you will have a specific time to meet in person. And then you will also have things that you have to do on your computer. Then we also have SVL, which are synchronous virtual lectures, meaning that there is a specific time you have to meet for your course. And instead of coming to the classroom on campus, you're going to meet online like what we're doing right now. We also have SVBL, which is a synchronous lecture that's virtual, that's blended, meaning you will have one day a week maybe, and then the rest is online. We have traditional online, which is OL, meaning start date, end date, and lots of due dates in between. And then we have OSL, which are self-paced courses, meaning start date, end date, everything in between is up to you to make sure that you are staying on track for success. However, we highly encourage you to go with those suggested due dates.
What happens if you wait till the last week to do the work for all weeks?
It doesn't normally end well. So not only do you not have the time to truly understand the material so that because the purpose is so you can make practical application, right? It's not just to get that A and to pass. It's also for the knowledge that you're going to have to use in your field. So if you wait till the very last week to read the entire book and do all of the assignments, you don't have time to interact with your peers in the course, with your instructor in the course. You don't have any time for any feedback on any of your assignments or growth for improvement. And it's really hard to cram and process that much information in just 1 week. So typically students run out of time is what honestly happens the majority of the time.
Anything else, Kerwin?
No, I mean, that pretty much covers it. We, in our department, our self-paced program, it starts every Monday. Is the only thing I'll add is that, so you can start every Monday with those self-paced courses. But yeah, so we try to meet students where they are. We try to have as many modalities as possible to provide students the opportunity, to get that education, because we understand that life is complicated and there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives. So we try to be as flexible as possible. I am going to go back. There was a question I saw in chat that I'm going to hit real quickly. They were asking, what if they don't know anybody on campus, or they don't know anybody? How do they stay motivated, and how do they make those connections? And I'll say, it's funny because we have Maricela here, and she's the director of student life. So, take advantage of that. There's a lot of clubs on campus. There's lots of clubs. There's lots of opportunities for, volunteering. There's lots of opportunities, to do those sort of club activities, which are great. There's the academic clubs that we have, which are, the name is escaping me right now. Somebody help me out.
Oh, I got it, Kerwin. I can take it from here.
Good.
Yay,
Yeah.
for our first time students, our first semester students, we have what's called the SOAR program. So you are now a member of SOAR. And SOAR, SOAR, stands for Student Outreach and Academic Relationships. So students, we don't want you to have to go through this journey by yourself and have your questions or have concerns not answered. We are here for you. We serve as a peer mentor for our first time in college students. So I'm going to put my contact information in the chat so that you can reach out, and I can put information also about our upcoming events. We have a SOAR social, and you'll hear about this a little bit later on, but there will be a SOAR social on April 19th. So keep that in mind, mark your calendars. And again, you'll hear a little bit more about that later, but I want you to know that we do have the SOAR program that is available to our first time in college students.
Thank you, Charlotte. I did have something here that was from our gentleman. He says, I'm an international military student in Japan. Should I contact my instructor about my textbooks right now? I said yes. Also, what are some common issues that I could prevent?
Common issues. I would say students that wait till the last minute to try to figure out how to access the library if there's an assignment, like a research paper. And they're like, well, it's like the night before and I get an email, I can't get into the library. Well, that was 10 weeks ago that you were supposed to start that process. So basically, if you follow, the procedures for moving forward and when we suggest for you to do things, you will do very well. Typically, like I said, it's students and it's issues that could be easily resolved. But if it's 10 o'clock the night before or 10 o'clock the night the class ends, that's really the biggest issues that I find.
Can we talk about what 10 o'clock means? Because he's in Japan.
Oh, yes.
We have people
Great.
in
Yes.
Poland, Germany. Can you please specify what 10 o'clock means to you versus them?
Yes. So in all of my classes, in all the business department, it will say 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So you literally will not have access to anything after 11:59 p.m. on the last day of the course. Or if it's a course that has due dates, it would be 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to adjust accordingly. So, thank you so much for saying that. That is an excellent point.
Yeah, that's what and it's great. We love having worldwide students, but that is, I think, one of the things that is sometimes a little bit difficult when we're trying to communicate. Also, like, we can make arrangements. The fact that he's in Japan and he's awake right now impresses me.
Right.
Because it's very late over there right now, or very early, I should say. And so, yes, you can still communicate with your faculty. If you want to talk to one of us in the administration, we can still make it happen. It's just going to take a little bit of finagling, because I have had conversations with people in Japan or other places throughout the world. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of trying to figure out, okay, what will work best for both sides. But I really love that question. And Blackboard is available 3 days prior.
3 days before.
Yes. We'll talk about clubs in a little bit, guys, and it doesn't matter where you're located, you are still able to participate, but we'll talk about that a little later. It is time, guys. I really want to say thank you to all of you, Dr. Reese, Professor Flaherty, and I know Professor Summers has been in the chat, kind of helping fill in some gaps. So thank you very much to all of you. If you anybody has any questions, I know that you have either already put in your information, but if you would just once again, please put it in the chat so that any students that might have any questions, they can still contact you and let you know what's going on. I want to say thank you very much. Now
Yeah, thanks for having us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to ask Ms. Pearl Creviston. She is our Director of Financial Aid. Yes, Pearl? Are you ready, Pearl?
I am ready.
She is here. She is the one you have
Welcome,
all been
everybody.
asking for, the one that gives out the money. Okay, maybe not all of you.
Right,
but
I like the
there's-
fact when I logged in, there were only 40-something people. Now there's over 69 because they all want money. That's all
They
it's
want
about.
to talk to you. It's you, Pearl. They want you.
Good
Take it away.
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the session. We're so happy you joined us. This is a great informative session that covers so much information that you all want to know as students. I want to say welcome from financial aid, and I hope everybody that's participating in this today has already accepted their award letter. They're waiting for us to release their funds for the 20th start date, and that will actually happen tomorrow. So anyone who has financial aid has already accepted it, is registered in classes that start on the 20th. That release date is tomorrow. And what that means, if some of you this may be your first time with CTC, when we say we release your funds 10 days prior to the start of classes, it means we release that money to the business office 10 days prior to the start of each class. They will pay your tuition and then allow you to use any additional funds at the CTC bookstore. So all of that will happen tomorrow, but keep in mind with spring break, we will be closed next week. So even though the money will be sitting there, you may either want to race down here tomorrow morning after about 10 until we close at 11:30 and wait in line probably, or just come back on the 20th, or maybe talk to your professors to find out what books you might need. So I definitely recommend that you find out if you need the materials for the classes that are listed, if your professors want something different or additional, or maybe no books at all. But find out that from your syllabus. And I also want to take a moment to ask Tina to wave her hand. Tina is our loan officer, and she would be able to answer any loan questions you have, and especially with summer coming up, that you may need to complete a summer form to let us know if you want to use a loan in the summer. Traditionally, you're only going to be awarded fall and spring. So make sure you let her know if you have loan questions or need help with loans. So some of the types of aid for financial aid are the FAFSA, of course, first and foremost. If you're going to try and obtain a student loan, you also have to complete the FAFSA for that. But we have other aid, and hopefully some of you took advantage of the last scholarship application process that just ended in February and applied for scholarships for the upcoming fall term. So there are other types of aid, a Texas grant aid and other institutional aid that you may be awarded as a student, and we generally do those first come, first serve. So as your file comes in from FAFSA, we will determine what else you could be eligible for and simply awarded at that time. So you want to make sure for your financial aid, though, that you have completed everything, and that does not just mean complete a FAFSA. That means you have to have seen an award letter from CTC on your student self-serve page. Until then, you may not have financial aid, and a lot of students don't realize that. They'll do the FAFSA and think, I'm all done, I'm ready, and never followed up with the school to find out what the financial award is, how much, or if there's other documentation we need. So I'd like Tina to talk a little bit about the loan process, if she would, please. And then I'm watching if there's any questions in the chat, but I do see one. Let me do that. There's a couple right now I can go ahead and answer real quick. One is, will there be a direct deposit to my account? Yes, if you sign up for direct deposit on the finance section of Student Self-Serve, your balances will generally be deposited 30 days after classes start. Could be sooner, but it's at least 30 days after classes start for you to receive balances. And those balances are from what is released. And the other question, is it too late to send FAFSA to CTC? No, it is not. We will accept your FAFSA for this school year, and also it's time to apply for the new school year, which starts in August if you're going to be continuing, and that will start for the 23-24 aid year. That application process opened this past October already. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Tina if she would please to talk about loans and what that process is, because once you've done your FAFSA, we will offer you a loan, but we don't automatically accept the loan like we do your Pell Grant or free aid. So Tina, if you would please. Oh, you're muted, I think, or we can't hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
A little bit.
Okay, yes.
There
I'm
we
going to
go.
go over some information regarding the loans. It is very important that first of all, the FAFSA is completed, that it's submitted in order for us to package your financial aid and the loans. The FAFSA has to be completed. Also, I do have a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions regarding loan not being dispersed, and it's very important to have communication with the financial aid office because sometimes the loans are under pending status. And it's very important to continuously check your Eagle Self-Service. And if the loan is pending, you can accept it or you can deny it. So currently I'm getting a lot of questions regarding loans, and sometimes they're not accepted, and therefore the loan is not being transmitted to your account. Also, I want to point out that once we package your information for financial aid, there's documents that need to be submitted. For example, the entrance counseling has to be completed at studentaid.gov. We also need the master promissory note on file in order to release the loan, and just verify that you have all the information that we need, that you can contact us anytime. We're here to help everyone. We are available for you. You can email us, you can contact us, and we're here to assist you. Is there any questions for financial aid that I would like to answer?
Well, there's a few questions, and between the two of you, maybe you can help, because I think there's a few people that are asking something similar, and maybe we can kind of consolidate it. How long, let's say I fill out my FAFSA today for 2022, 2023, because I want to start my classes right after spring break. How long will it take for you to process that? Do I have enough time?
Probably not, I would say. It's 3 to 5 business days just for us to receive it. We are closed next week, so that means we will not be here to receive the FAFSA file from the Department of Education. Once it is received, then it still takes processing time, so a minimum of a week, and it could be 2 to 3 weeks, depending on whether or not your file is selected for verification by Department of Ed. If it is, we're going to request additional documentation at that time.
I would like to add something else for students. We highly emphasize that to complete and submit the 23-24 FAFSA using the income tax of 2021. This is the financial aid for the fall term of 23 for the spring of 2024.
Also, a lot of students have completed a 23-24 because what is this year? It's 23. However, 23-24 always starts that year, the beginning year starts in the fall term. So we've had a lot of disappointed students who did their FAFSA for 23-24 trying to start in spring of 23. But unfortunately, that is the 22-23 FAFSA for last year.
So let's say we have somebody, just to kind of help some, because I can, even though they're not saying it, I can hear them through their chat, right? Oh, well, okay. So if I want to take summer classes and I haven't used my FAFSA yet, which one do they need to use?
22, 23.
So for the spring all the way up to the end of summer, July, right?
Correct.
Okay, because I feel like that has a lot to do with the questions that they've been asking. So thank you for clarifying that.
Hey, Pearl, can you also clarify what all a student can use if they are awarded a Pell? I mean, it goes to tuition, books, whatever, kind of walk them through what all they can use it for?
It's pretty simple. You can use it for tuition, of course, and then anything you can purchase from the CTC bookstore. That can be charged against your financial aid balance. Some students ask about, well, what if I want to buy my books on Amazon? You can do that. However, you would not get financial aid for it up front to do so. You'd have to pay out of pocket. And then anything you don't use for tuition would be sent to you for a balance check. But again, remember that's 30 days after classes start. So you're welcome to purchase your books from anybody you wish to purchase your books from, but only at the CTC bookstore can you use your financial aid to do so.
Okay, so I have somebody talking a little bit about TA. I know that this is not necessarily something that you guys deal with directly, but the question is, I have approved TA. Do I need to give a copy of the TA request to CTC before the class starts on the 20th?
I would say yes, because that's how you're going to pay for those classes. So if you want to start those classes, you definitely want to make sure they're paid for as soon as you register. If you're using TA, you'll take that to the business office, send it to the business office, get it to them quickly so that they can use that to actually pay for your classes.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about, what if I have some extra money and I have a good, the Pell Grant applies to me, can I work? Can you talk a little bit about that?
You can work. We actually have what's called a work-study program. So if you qualify for Pell Grant, you qualify to be a work-study automatically. And the way the work-study program works is you actually can work 19.5 hours a week. And you can do that as long as you're a student at CTC enrolled in classes. And what we do is we work your work schedule around your classes. That's the awesome part of being a work study. So if you're working at McDonald's and they want you there every day from 2 to 6, and your classes start in the next term and they're from 3 to 5, you can't take that class. You have a job. With CTC work study program, you just tell the office that you're working with or the department that you're working with that your class schedule has changed, and we will work around your class schedule. So your school is the priority and your job is secondary, but we make sure you get your hours in. We just work it around your schedule.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, and I don't know what this stands for, the VR&E. The question says, for VR&E, how does that work? Do I handle anything to pay, or is that them?
I don't know if, Anthony, if you could clarify what VR&E means or just spell it out for us, I might be able to answer your question.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. I'm hoping it's probably something we know, and it's just that we can't understand what VR&E means. Because he says he's retired. So veteran retirement? And I don't know. Anyway, any I can hear somebody.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I would like to add regarding the work study, they can submit the application to eCreate. Log in into forms, fill out the form, and get the work study process. I also wanted to point out, now that I got a chance, for students, it is very important that you update all your information on the Eagle Self-Service, contact phone numbers, email, the primary email that we're gonna have conversations, and any other information, just provide us everything that we need to have a good communication.
We have a great question here. Am I able to send my current university to send my current financial aid to CTC?
No. Unfortunately, that is not the way it works. So for that answer, you actually have to go back onto the FAFSA that you did for your current university and add the CTC school code. However, my question to you would be, are you transferring here? Or are you just coming here for a class? Because if you are only coming here for maybe a lower level class, but you're actually receiving a bachelor's degree from a 4-year university, you are not eligible to use financial aid at CTC. You may only receive it from one school at a time, and it has to be the school you are degree seeking from.
Oh, okay. VRNE is Veteran Readiness and Employment. It's part of Chapter 35 for retired military.
Sorry, I can't help with that one. I would definitely recommend you contact VA for that. And I can put their information back in here for you right now, just to have it on this one line where you don't have to go look for it.
I'm gonna say that VA usually, it's something that they really want you to do through them. So you really always have to contact them, and they will, and then once they give you approval, most of the stuff with VA, and I don't know if this is it, but most of the time they have to do their approvals through the VA. Then they send something, and then you can come talk to the people that work with the VA here at Central Texas College. You submit everything to them, and they make sure that everything matches and that you can register and do all of that. But there is something that you will have to do. It does not, I have never heard anything getting sent automatically through CTC. Usually the student has to submit something and have some sort of process. So definitely contact Vet Success. They are our VA staff here at Central Texas College. And if they feel like you are ready to submit everything to our CTC, Veteran Services representative, they'll tell you that. I know it's a little bit complicated, but usually the VA wants you to initiate everything.
Okay. Shauna, I just saw your question, so I'm going to answer it just because it may apply to everyone about the FAFSA and what you're trying to do and adding it. And you said you're a transfer student.
Parking right on the side of the road.
Does that mean you are?
I had one of my guys watching. I said, if you pull off, lock him up totally.
Somebody is, I'm trying to figure out who's unmuted. I'm going to try to mute them. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, nope, I think it's John.
Yeah, he keeps unmuting himself. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so as a transfer student, if you're changing schools, meaning you're no longer attending that other school, then you do add your school code to the FAFSA you did with them, and then we will process that when it comes in. So either way, if you're just coming here for a term, for instance, and then going back, you're actually still not eligible. So we definitely would need to verify that you're definitely transferring, you're coming here to get a degree, and you will now be a CTC student.
All right. Thank you very much, Pearl. Thank you very much, Tina. As usual, you're a wealth of wisdom, and we love to hear everything that you have to say. If you could, I think you have put your information already in the chat. If not, can you please go ahead and do so again? So if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and contact you directly. Now we're going to turn it over to our academic advising team. And today, yes, Pearl.
I just wanted to ask Shauna, I've just put my number in there. Oh, I put it to a mod for some reason. Let me try it again for everybody. I am going to put my number in there. I'd like you to call me, please, directly. Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, here we have Richard Lewis. He is one of our academic advisors, and he is going to talk to you guys a little bit about degree plans and what you need to know in that end. Richard, do you need the slides, or do you have them?
Not really. I can just kind of freeball it. And then if you have questions, of course, ask those as I'm talking.
Go for it.
But real simple, here at Advising, we're just here to help you. If you don't know what to do, come talk to us. We collaborate with the financial aid department, the admissions department, and basically anybody else on campus to get you from point A to Z. At some point, you need to talk to us anyway. If you want to activate your degree plan or change your degree plan, we review TSI scores and assign and exempt developmental coursework as necessary. If your GPA falls below 2.0, you'll need to talk to us to do a probation agreement. If you got any other holds on your account, we can advise on that as well. When you guys are cleared to enroll, we can assist you with the registration process, more specifically Eagle Self-Service. We have nice features on there like My Progress that'll show you your virtual degree so you can know and track, what classes you need and what you've already taken. And then we can also show you how to use the plan and schedule feature because it is like online shopping. Got to add it to your cart, confirm the purchase. You need to go find your classes, add them to your schedule, but then go back to your schedule and then confirm those classes. Speaking of that, our next start date is March 20th. So if you're trying to get into those, registration ends the day before classes start. So you got up until March 19th to get on Eagle Self-Service and sign up for those classes. Our summer classes start June 5th, and enrollment for those are going to begin April 17th. And if you look a little bit further, our fall semester that starts in August, enrollment for that also begins June 5th. So keep an eye out on those because classes do fill up pretty quickly. Has anything popped up in the chat? Because I kind of ran out of stuff.
No, but let's talk a little bit about some of the other things. Like, we were talking, some individuals were talking about universities.
Oh, for sure, transferring. I totally skipped over that. I'm sorry. Well, again, if you have questions, come talk to us and we'll figure it out. We do so much that I can't even think about everything that we do. But yeah, transferring is a big thing. When it comes to transferring, we'll help you look at schools in the future, kind of get an idea on how to build a schedule on what classes will transfer with you. When it is time to transfer, the most you need to do with us is just make sure you're in good standing, you don't owe us any money, and get your official transcript sent over from us to where we're going. And that is student driven, so we're not going to do that automatically. You do need to go request those transcripts and get those sent over, okay?
Can you talk a little bit also about, the people, like if they, for example, nursing, and there's certain degree programs, Kate Center, how do these individuals get a hold of you? What is the best way to get a hold of you? Where, and all of that?
For sure. And again, advising is a great starting place for any degree that you're interested in. There are going to be some programs that are outside of our hands that do require departmental approval. You listed a couple. The nursing program would be one, EMT, phlebotomy, things of those natures. So we can give you the basic prerequisites on what you want to be having prepared, but then at some point you do want to reach out to those departments. Kate Center is the same way. We can assist with the degree plans for that, but when it comes time to enroll into those classes, since they do require departmental approval, you do need to reach out to those specific departments. But again, advising is a great place to start for all of that because we can let you know about what we offer and how to get started with those programs.
Great. Can you explain a little bit about like Eagle Self-Service and how that works versus the regular academic advising that you guys do more here at Central Campus?
No, for sure. So I think it's kind of in the name, Eagle Self-Service. That's where you can go to look at your own degree plan, see where you're tracking with classes. You can register for your classes there. You can also check your financial aid status there. I know Pearl and her team were kind of mentioning that. You do want to check that frequently to make sure you do have funds available. If at some point you don't know what to do on Eagle Self-Service, that's when you can come see us and we can walk you through it. I don't want you to think that when you come into the advising office, you'll just get registered right then and there. That is something the student has to go do just to make sure you guys are taking your future into your own hands. But we're here to answer your questions. We're here to guide you. So definitely use us as a resource.
Rich, we've got a lot of students that are from all over the country and the world that have logged on. Can you talk about Eagles on Call and how those students who aren't close, who can't come into your office, how you guys still help those students?
Absolutely. I think you guys were mentioning a student earlier that's somewhere where it's 11 o'clock over there and it's a different time over here. The Eagles on Call department is going to be, it's kind of like a hotline for the advisors. In the advising office I'm in, we see students locally. You could do a walk-in visit, set up an appointment. But with Eagles on Call, they're going to work specifically with emails and phone calls, and they have a little bit different hours. So they're open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So that kind of accommodates for the different time differences around the world. But they
Central
kind of do the same.
Standard Time, right?
Well, yeah, we operate on Central Standard Time. So Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Um, and that kind of gives a window for basically everybody that we see around the world. They're going to do phone calls and emails, so you can still reach out to somebody and talk to somebody live, as well as understand that somebody is working on your account if you send an email. So they're pretty good about that.
Yes. We have almost a little, we have a way of reaching almost any day, pretty much. To talk to an advisor in almost any way. Now, if they email you, what information do you want them to include if they're not talking to you over the phone?
Thank you for asking, because sometimes we just get random emails and we don't have any way to identify you. Please, if you can, include your full name. If you are a student with us and you don't know your ID number, if you include your birthday, that'd be great. But if you do know your ID number, please throw that in there so that way we can pull your account up, and just make sure we're giving you accurate information. Now that I'm talking, and we're talking about, just students all over the world, a lot of our base is military students. And going back to the degree plans, we change degree plans, we activate degree plans. But if you are a military student and using the Army Ignited portal, for example, we are not going to be able to just change your degree plans. That is something you'll have to submit a request for through eTrieve. So that's a different process. If you're just a regular student and you want to go from general studies to music, we could do that, no problem. If you're using military TA, there is a different process for that, and you do need to log in the eTrieve to submit a degree plan change request. For our VA students, if you're using like Chapter 39 Post 9/11 GI Bill, we can change your degree plan, no problem. But we need you to make sure you have an official copy from us and you get that updated with the VA department so they know what classes are now required so they can pay for them.
Can you talk a little bit, and this kind of goes along with, how you communicate with the VA and financial aid and all of these. Can you talk, and this is kind of a money thing, but maybe a little bit about some of the issues that you have noticed have occurred when people change their degree plans and they haven't really looked at their funding, whether it be VA, tuition assistance, or even like the spousal assistance programs and stuff like that, how the degree plan can affect all of that?
I think the main thing that pops out is when students are signing up for classes that are not on their degree. You may be looking at a social behavior science requirement, but your specific degree might require a certain class. And for that reason, the VA, financial aid, or whoever wouldn't pay for it. So you got to be very mindful of that. So when you're using My Progress on Eagle Self-Service, that's one way to double check. But if you ever have questions if a class is needed or not needed, or if it's a duplicate class or anything like that, definitely follow up with us, because if it's not needed by your degree, it will not be covered for funding.
So how often do you feel like the student should be checking in with you guys to make sure that they're on track?
Everybody's different. Some students I see once a year, some students I see once a day. So I say reach out early and reach out often, and whatever that means to you, go with it.
Awesome. I think we've been really good about getting, there is a little bit of information about like updating the bank information, and I know that's not necessarily you, but that's an
No,
Eagle
for sure.
Self-Service thing.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because so let me think about all the features that Eagle Self-Service offers right now. We mentioned My Progress. You can look at your degree on there. We mentioned Plan and Schedule, where you can plan out your schedule. If it's a face-to-face class, you can literally see the time blocks on your schedule, so there's no contradictions or anything like that, and you have a visual. You can update your bank account information there. So if you don't want to receive a physical check for your refunds or anything, you can include your routing information on your bank account, and you can get direct deposit. Some other things you can do on there, I do believe you can change your physical address, like your mailing address and stuff like that. You can change your primary email address, your primary phone number. You can make payments for the classes that you enroll into. So if you don't want to use financial aid, or if you can't use financial aid, you can make payments on Eagle Self-Service. I also think you can get your unofficial transcripts from there. So that'd be a way to view those. If you wanted your official transcripts, again, different process. Go on our main webpage, student tools. It says transcript request, and then you can follow that process.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. I always appreciate you coming over. You have a lot of information. You've been with us for a while. I think you started as a student and you just never left. You've just
Oh my
kind of
goodness, if you don't mind me digressing, Pearl mentioned a work study program. I started off here as a work study. So and it really basically what she just said. If you pick your classes, the department you're with are gonna work with you. And it's just beneficial because it's really like a real job. You get paid like a real job, but then you also have those duties and responsibilities. You learn how to manage your time, manage yourself. And it's just a wonderful experience. And then it just blossomed into something beautiful with me. So who knows what it could turn into for you.
I know we love Richard. He's been here for a while because he started as a student and then he's just kind of kept rolling. So we love having you around. Thank you, Richard, for helping us
For
out today.
sure.
We look forward to working with you again soon.
Okay.
All right, changing gears a little bit. Now I am going to invite.
Hey, wait, one thing, Richard, before you leave, will you put your academic advising information in the chat just so that the students can have access to it in case they need to reach you guys by email?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
So I'm going to invite our chief of police. Yes, we actually have a police force. Yes, they're for real. And we have a chief and his name is Joseph Barragan. And I would like to invite Chief Barragan to come on down. You're the next contestant on the new student orientation is right.
Well, good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know we were having audio trouble earlier, and I go, I don't even know if I have problems or not. Well, welcome to Central Texas College. It's a honor and privilege to know that all of you are watching, and I encourage you all to come by my visit when you're on campus to visit with me, and we can chit chat. All of you, I'm going to tell you about. You have to get parking permits anyway, so it's a good time to come talk to me anyway. But you want to share the slide, Miss Santiago?
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming.
So basically, I'm going to tell you the topics, who we are as far as police department, the police services that we provide. We're going to talk a little bit about the Clery Act. We're going to talk about your rights and responsibility, which is very important, especially when you're talking about security and violations of the law versus code of conduct. We're also going to talk about the emergency alert system, and we're going to talk about campus carry. So we do allow concealed carry on campus, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then finally, we'll talk about campus safety and what you can do to keep yourself safe while on campus. So as we go on the first topic, who we are. So it's a nice illustration, and you can all laugh, okay? Because one of our issues is people will get pulled over by our campus police officers, and they'll say, well, you're not real cops. Well, when they're paying $300 in a fine, they'll realize that we are real cops. But again, we are certified by the state of Texas. We go through a police academy like every police officer, regardless of where you work in Texas, has to go through that police academy. So we're all accredited, we're all certified. And what makes us even more unique is that we are actually certified both in Coryell County and Bell County. So we have a dual jurisdiction on both counties. So the next slide, the calls for service. So our services are, of course, anything that we have to do. As a matter of fact, I was on the line right now because of a call for service. We do issue all the parking permits, so make sure when you come on campus that you have a parking permit. A parking permit process is really easy. We need your vehicle registration, make sure that it's current. We need your driver's license, and we need your CTC ID. That's it. And permit is free. So, and if you want to register one vehicle or all your vehicles, they're all allowed to have permits. So we also help unlocking and jump starting vehicles. We also do escorts to classrooms in case there's some issues like with an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend. If you need an escort, we'll definitely provide that for you. And of course, one of the most important things, if you're a victim of crime, please, there's going to be options for you to come report it to us or through Title IX. But I want to encourage always for you to come forward and get the help. We're here to help, okay? And that's one of the most important things I want to stress is that we're here to help. We also have lost and found. We have first aid. So there is my phone number, and I'm not saying mine, it's the police department. It's 24/7. So I would jot it down, 526-1427. That's 24/7. You will always be able to get hold of a police officer or a police dispatcher 24/7 on that. Next thing I want to talk about is our Cleary. So Cleary is, Jean Cleary was sexually assaulted and murdered back in 1986. But one of the things that when they did the investigation and her parents became advocates is that the police department was not really responsive to the needs of students. And we hear in the news all the time, things are happening. We see where students are getting shot, students are living in dorms, and we just had the murder in Iowa. So there's things that police departments are required to do, and some of the things we're supposed to do is collect and classify all the crime that occurs on campus. We do publish a report. It's called the Annual Security Report, which is available online, or you can come here to the police department and pick it up. Well, that report contains information of everything that's happening here on campus as far as crime, but it also talks about services that we provide, and not only us, but also through the college. We have Dr. Mahone Lewis can provide counseling for you all, but then we also have resources of external resources that you can reach out to and that would give you help. And then like one of the most important things is the timely warnings and emergency notification. So if you have not signed up for the Eagle Alert, I encourage you to get as many of your phone numbers in there, your email, so you can get alerts. If there were ever going to be an active attack, active shooting, we would notify you. The last one that we sent was just a couple of weeks ago on a tornado warning. We actually had students on campus and a tornado was within a mile radius of our campus. So of course we gave the alert to shelter in place, and actually risk management, Mr. Murphy did that, and he's a great partner, and I love that when he's joining our campus. He'll be talking later on, but he's helped me tremendously in keeping our campus safe and informing the community, the campus, the students, staff, and faculty of things that are happening. We go on to the next slide. We talk about your rights and responsibility. This is important, okay, because we're talking about the student code of conduct. So you might say, well, what happens if something happens? Know your rights. If you don't know your rights, I know Ms. Santiago Cruz will talk about this, but you have to know your rights. You have to know what options you have. As far as us as a police department, I will talk to anybody and I will let you know what can happen to you both if you get arrested, or if you are a suspect in a crime, or even if you violated the student code of conduct or alleged to have violated the student code of conduct. Our campus has several policy, zero tolerance when it comes to Title IX, which is sexual assault and harassment, dating violence, drug and alcohol abuse. We're a smoke-free campus. In any violations of the law, it's important that I'll give you an example. Like recently, the city of Killeen passed an ordinance that officers are not to enforce the marijuana. So they won't arrest you for marijuana, but it changes here on campus. We are in the city of Killeen, but you will be in violation of the law if you're in possession of marijuana, and you will be arrested. And you'll face sanction under the student code of conduct. So there's some differences, but I just want you to know that, because I don't want you to think, well, it's okay to smoke marijuana here, and no, it's not. So, but again, anytime you want to come to my office, we'll chit chat and we'll talk about it. You can tell me your position, why you think that we should change that policy. But I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. But we can talk. We can talk. So going on to the next one, um, as I mentioned earlier about the Eagle Alert system. So basically, this is what we do. We send you in situation requiring closure, evacuation, emergency, and like the weather closure. Even though there was no time to close it because of the tornado, we did tell you to shelter in place. So you're probably saying, well, how do I do it? Well, you should have automatically already been registered, at least one of your phone numbers. But you can go into the Omni Alert and log in and actually put in your information and put different phone numbers. You can put a significant other like your boyfriend, girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your family, whoever you want to also receive the notifications. You can also log in from Eagle Self-Service for the alert. So you have several ways. If you need help, please get with me and we'll help you too. And if not, Eagle Self-Service is great. They have a great help desk that will walk you through the process. So as we continue, the next thing I want to briefly cover is the campus carry. So we do have a concealed carry. You're allowed, but you still have to meet the requirements of the law. The requirements of law, you have to be 21 years of age and you have to have a license. If you don't have a license, you cannot conceal carry. And this is where sometimes the law changed, because now we have open carry in anywhere in Texas, unless there's a sign saying that you can't take handguns. You get in plain view. What I'm trying to say is that you have to have the permit to conceal carry on campus. Without that permit, without it being concealed, you will be arrested. It's unlawful carrying. So make sure you don't come on campus with your handgun and not have a concealed license or license to carry, and the handgun is visible. Some of our locations that are already designated gun-free zones are going to be like the early colleges, child care facilities, mental health services, areas involving anything that has to do with sports. Like if you go to, there's a basketball league going on, don't do it, okay? And then also our dorm, Morton Hall residents, if you're a dorm student, you cannot have a handgun in there. Even though it is your personal living space, you cannot. So again, also where chemicals are stored, or CTC owned vehicles, anything containing critical college infrastructure like our IT and things like that. So, but if you have any questions, it's also available on the website. As we move on, I want to move into the crime prevention programs that we have. So one of the things that we do is the civilian response to active shooter events or active attacks. So basically what this does is give you, the student, the plan, so you avoid. If there's a shooter on campus, your thing is you have to do is avoid. If you can't avoid, you deny. And to me, the best way to deny someone is just close your classroom doors. Make sure your classroom doors are closed. If you see that they're open and you're concerned about your safety, ask the professor, hey, can I close the door? Because it'll automatically deny anyone from going in there unless they have the classroom and all that. And then the last one is actually where you would defend yourself. But this is a presentation that we do. It's available if you want us to go to your classroom. We also do it to the community if the community wants to do it. This is something that has been adopted not only through Texas School Safety, but it's also something that's done by many police departments. And it's a great strategy, is the Avoid, Deny, Defend ad. So there's a link to the video if you want to see the video there and things like that. again, when it comes to crime prevention, we provide the escorts, vehicle assistance. Um, there is a thing called iWatch Texas. If you want that iWatch Texas, you can go and you can actually file information with DPS under that iWatch program to say, hey, there's something going on campus, and it could be anonymous. But emphasis is if you see something, say something. That is so important because it's always, I always say sometimes that we're the last ones to know anything. And that's crazy. It's gone full circle before we become aware of a situation that we should have been the first phone call. So again, welcome to CTC. Go Eagles, and come talk to me. And here's my pitch. If you want a career in law enforcement, we have a police academy. So many openings throughout Texas, and the pay is improving too. So thank you all, and take care, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chief. For those of you that are maybe joining us from outside of Texas, if you ever have any questions about anything, you can also contact our safety officers. I know in the past there have been situations, because we're a worldwide institution where there have been concerns about our students. Are they okay? What's going on with them? And our campus police will also help us reach out to maybe local law enforcement or whatever and make sure that you guys are okay. So even though his presentation focuses more about what's going in Texas, that is not everything that he looks at. And so we always appreciate your support, Chief, and your help. So thank you for your presentation today and your time. All right, so now we get to another fun part that has to do with conduct and resources. And this is, we've talked a little bit about some of the resources that we have available for you students, and some of the things that we want to make sure that you're aware of, because not everybody does, or not everybody's aware of them. Oh man, okay. But I am going to briefly, before we get into too much further, I am going to ask Mr. Larry Murphy. I know he was over here somewhere. Is he still there? Larry, you still there? I don't see you.
I'm here.
There he is. He is our Title IX coordinator and risk management director. And I want him to just briefly talk to us about Title IX and what that is and what we all need to know about Title IX.
Good afternoon and welcome, Eagles. So real quick, Title IX is a program that was established by the Department of Education in coordination with Department of Justice that ensures that students, employees, or whoever have equal access to a college education, that they're not being sexually discriminated against, not facing sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, gender bias or gender discrimination, any of those types of things. And that is my job, to ensure, to educate, and also to look into those instances. If you find that you are a victim of any of that information, you can report that to me, and I'll put my information in the chat. Or you can go online to the CTC website under Title IX. Down at the bottom of the page, on the home page, click on Title IX, and it will carry you to the Title IX page. On that, the fifth tab where it says Report of Sexual Misconduct, click on that and fill out that report. And once you fill it out, that information will come directly to me, and then I will reach out to you within 24 to 48 hours to file that report. We want to make sure everyone is safe and are not in any type of fear when they're going through their education period. So if you have any questions, you can email me, call me, or if you're here on campus, you can swing by my office. I'm in building 267, which is the planetarium, room 230. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murphy. Really appreciate it. We work really closely together on certain things. And that kind of brings me up with another one of our fun parts. Okay, not really. Let's be honest. What Mr. Murphy and I have to deal with sometimes is not the funnest thing that we have to talk about or that we want to do, but it's very important because we want you to feel safe on campus. So
Correct.
I did mention that I am the director of student life and activities, and that means I get a lot of the fun stuff. However, okay, another one of the hats that I wear, and this is just one of the hats that I wear, just like Title IX coordinator is just one of the hats that Mr. Murphy wears. I am also the main conduct officer for the campus. So that means that sometimes students don't follow through with their what's expected of them. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means, so that we can have that be clear. And you all know exactly what we're talking about. So I'm going to talk really, really quickly about some of those expectations that we have for our students. And that includes things like advocating for yourself. It sounds kind of crazy, maybe not, but a lot of the time students don't know that they should be advocating for themselves. This is not high school. This is not like before. If you're used to your parents, kind of taking care of your stuff, that's not how it is anymore. Now we need you to advocate. You need to be the one letting us know what your needs are. So please, you need to talk to your instructors, administration. If you have a question, you're welcome, or a concern, you need to bring it up so that we can all help you. You must behave like an adult. And I know that that sounds maybe a little bit weird, but it's very interesting when people get frustrated how easily they can regress and become somewhat childlike. So let's, we like to remind everybody we have adult behavior. FERPA is a federal law that actually says that we cannot share your information, including academic and conduct, unless you give us permission, and that's regardless of your age, and you need to give us written permission. So if you want us to send your transcripts, if you want a job and you want a copy of your records from the college, all of that requires that you authorize us in writing. And so that's very important that you're aware of, that we will not just give out your information. Syllabus or syllabi, please make sure you read them. The faculty already mentioned this to you, but please, please, please make sure you're reading them. The instructors don't usually offer you any kind of makeup work or late work. This is not like high school. So make sure you know what it is. Contact your faculty if you have any questions. Don't miss class. The missing a class can be very detrimental, and multiple misses can be horrible. We want you to be successful. That is the main thing. And usually you being in class, listening in, being able to ask questions as soon as you have concerns. If you're in an online class, being able to immediately contact your faculty and not wait till the last minute to try to get a hold of somebody to answer your questions. That is super, super important. So please make sure that you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing as quickly as possible so that you are successful in class. Integrity, that's a big thing. So things like making sure that you're the one doing your homework, that you're turning it in, that you are citing if you use some sort of resource to do a paper, not purchasing the work that you're turning in, things like that. That is all part of the academic integrity and integrity in general. Civility. Everybody, you don't have to like what happens. You don't have to like what you hear, but you have to be civil whenever you are dealing with other classmates, instructors, administrative staff, all of that. And that means no cursing, having calm conversations. It's okay not to agree, but it's important that you understand that what you say and how you say things is just as important as what you're saying. College guidelines and procedures. We have a student code of conduct. It's part of the student handbook. It is online in the CTC website. Please look at it. Make sure you know what's expected of you. It's in the handbook. We update it annually, at least once. And sometimes we might tweak it a little bit more, but for the most part, it doesn't change that much. All we're trying to do is make sure that you're aware that you need to be going to class, you need to act right, and that there are going to be repercussions if you don't follow through with all of that. Title IX, like Mr. Murphy said, make sure that you know that we do not tolerate sexual misconduct of any kind, and that includes all students. It doesn't matter where you're located, it is not okay. And we will investigate all instances of sexual misconduct. We have a lot of resources. Start using them from day one. That means use your tutoring. Even if you're overseas, we actually have online tutoring available to you. There's also library is available online. There's a lot of other things that are available to you. Here's a link to the student handbook, the college catalog. If you have any complaints, we have a form for that. And then also the form that Mr. Murphy included in there, the sexual misconduct form if you need to report it. Yes, and that includes through social media, that includes through email, any kind of sexual misconduct. It could be virtual, not just physical or in person. These are some of the resources that we have available. Like I said, Academic Studio, they do a lot of, they do the academic tutoring for classes, and they do have a virtual option. You can make an appointment with them, and they can help you with your classes regardless of where you're located. We have career services that can help you either find a job or get ready. It's not just finding a job, it's resume writing. They can help you with learning how to interview and a lot more. Disability support services, I'm going to have Dr. Christy Shank talk to you in a minute about that. I'm Student Life and Activities, where we have clubs, organizations that you can meet. We mentioned, a lot of you said, oh, we're interested in clubs. Please come see me or talk to me. Before we leave, I will put my information in the chat so that you know that you can be part of it. And it doesn't matter where you're located. We have clubs and organizations that can even meet virtually. And then we also have a residence hall, which a lot of community colleges do not have, but we do. So definitely an option for you. The library, like I said, is online. Student and employee assistant program. If you need counseling, they can actually work with you virtually as well as in person. It's free. If you college can be hard on a good day if you have situations that happen. You have life, you have work, you have kids, you have family, and you're trying to balance all of that, and all of us need help sometimes figuring out what's the best way to deal with those situations. Then you can definitely use our free counseling. That's an option to you. You've met a lot of these places, academic advising, financial aid, veteran benefits registration. We're all here to support you. And then if you're in Texas near our central campus, we also have a gym. There's a whole list online of resources that we have in our central campus and around us. So please let us know if you have any questions. You're welcome to call us or email us. And if you just even if you don't know what you need, or you just say, I have a situation and I don't know how to handle it, let us know. The sooner that you tell us, the better, because then we can try to figure out how to help you deal with it and resolve it as quickly as possible. Don't let it fester. It's a lot more difficult for a situation to be handled if you wait. The longer you wait, the harder it is for us to help you. Doesn't mean we can't, but it just makes it a little bit harder. And now I am going to ask Dr. Christy Shank. She is the Director of Disability Support Service, to just talk briefly about the services that her department offers all our students.
Thank you, Maricela. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to provide some information about Disability Support Services. We are located on the central campus, and I will put in our contact information for everyone in the chat. What our office does is we provide academic accommodations for students who have a disability. For our services, you have to qualify, meaning you have to have a disability under the Americans with Disability Act. It can be a physical, mental, emotional impairment. There's a lot of different disabilities that we can help you with, medical conditions as well. In order to qualify, you have to have a major life activity that is limited substantially. A lot of times we see students with learning disabilities, hearing disabilities. It could be a wide range of disabilities. If you need our services, you do have to self-identify to us and you do have to submit medical documentation to us. The documentation has to state what your disability is, how it was diagnosed, how it affects you in a learning environment, and what accommodations that you may need in order to help be successful in your classes. We do provide accommodations worldwide for students, regardless of where you're located. We do provide accommodations for face-to-face classes, online classes, blended classes. So whatever your class is, we can help you with accommodations. Accommodations can be requested at any time. However, we do suggest that you do get accommodations prior to the start of your semester because accommodations are not retroactive. That means the accommodations won't start until you've had all of your documentation approved by us, you've completed our intake process. So we recommend that you do that hopefully before the start of your classes. But again, if you are already in classes and you need our help, please reach out to us. Another benefit of registering for our services that we do provide academic advising for our disability students. So that is another service that we can help you with. We also help with pregnancy accommodations, and I'll put a link in there for that as well. And we do help with different accommodations. Again, it's dependent upon what your disability is. Some of the common accommodations that we do provide is a separate testing area, extended testing time, note-taking services, sign language interpreting. Again, it's just dependent upon what your disability is. If there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We do have coordinators available on campus, so I will include our building location, our contact information, as well as a link to our website. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Mariceli.
Thank you, Dr. Schenk. We appreciate it. There's the information for her. This is how you can get a hold of her and Dean Starkey. She's the Dean of Student Success and Persistence. I am going to put my information in the chat so that everybody does have it. And if you have any questions, then you will be able to contact me. I can be a great resource overall, really, about anything, because even if I don't know what the answer is, I can definitely help you figure out who to talk to or where to go or how to handle the situation so that it does not become a bigger situation than it needs to be. Now, do we have any questions? Let me see. Zachary, sorry, where can we find out our syllabus? Okay, the syllabi is usually located in Blackboard. You will get access to Blackboard 3 days prior to the beginning of class. Other than that, it would have to be the professor that would have to provide it to you. So that's probably the best answer for that. I'm not
the books. Like, will we be able to get the books before class started?
Yes, but the thing about it is that you really want to make sure that you're also verifying with your faculty member exactly what you're going to need. Some faculty members, and depending on the class, they have different requirements and needs. So you really want to make sure that you're having a conversation with your faculty member before you just buy everything and then you find out you don't need it. If you do buy everything, don't just go and start opening everything in case you need to return something. We have a lot of open resources available that are not necessary. You don't necessarily have to buy it. They may be available online, virtually, and depending on the class and what's going on. So I would say definitely check with
our professor.
I'll put the link for the course materials link where you can enter your course class, and it'll give you just a basic like for that class. And if there are any OER, which is open educational resources, and those are free, a lot of our classes do subscribe to those kinds of resources. And so they're going to be just links and things like that. So you can check that, and I'll put that again in the chat. So that's one place where you can look. But then outside of that, you would need to consult with your syllabus or talk to your faculty member. But I will put that link so that you can check it.
Also, if you, and I see somebody else has a question, like, I don't know when my class times are or locations or anything like that. All of that is in your Eagle self-service. And if you go into your Eagle self-service, you'll be able to see when your classes are, what the times they are, if they're in person, or if they have a specific time period that they actually, you have to meet with a faculty member. And it's also going to show you the name of the faculty member. I don't know if it also, I believe it might also have their email. I'm not 100% sure if it does or does not. But if it does not include the email, you can also contact the department for that class, and they will be able to give you a way to contact that faculty member directly. And they may be able to help answer some of the questions that you have in terms of materials, if they're familiar with what the faculty member usually requests.
When you guys say faculty member, you're talking about the professor, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
But yes, faculty is equal to professor, is equal to teacher. So at the college level, we call it faculty. Make sure that you're looking at all of that. That's where you're going. The Eagle Self-Service really has a lot of the information. Now, if your class is online and it doesn't have a requirement for you to meet at a specific date or time, it's not going to say a specific date or time. It's only going to show that it's an online class. And there is a way when you're looking at the online classes, it's got like a little schedule. It'll just, I believe it shows at the bottom of the schedule, just showing that, yes, you have a class, but it's just online. So you can access it whenever you want to. You don't have to access it at a specific date or time. But remember, don't wait until the last minute to try to finish your homework or any kind of work that they're requiring you to do. The other thing that you want to remember is that if you do not do the necessary work, or if you do not go to class before the end of the census date, you will be dropped. So it's very important that you actually participate in the class, and that you actually do something, even if it's just an online class, and you don't have to finish it till the end of, you have 8 weeks to complete all your work. You need to have all of that done prior to the census date for that class. And you can ask the faculty member what that date will be. If you have other questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat so that we can go ahead and answer them. Because we've talked about a lot of things, but you guys may have questions that have nothing to do with what we have already discussed. And so please feel free to type in any of those questions so that we can get you started. Remember that next week we are going to be closed, but you can still register for classes or make changes through our Eagle Self-Service portal. And you are still going to be able to access the information through there. Any other questions? Oh, I typed my number wrong. Let me do that again. This is what happens when you talk and type. That's my phone number. That had way too many twos. Anything else? Any other questions? Concerns? Does everybody feel comfortable now with starting your classes and knowing what to expect, at least the first, once you go into the class or once you access your class? Yes, no, maybe?
I said yes.
Is that a yes? I hope so. That's what we hope. But of course, if you're not sure, I want to make sure, I want you guys to ask the questions now. If nothing else, even if right now you're like, I have no idea what else to ask, my brain is fried, which probably is with all the information we've given you. Make sure that you write down at least points of contact, people that you know that you want to contact. Now, Charlotte, you said you wanted to talk a little bit more about SOAR and what students should expect. So I don't know if she's still around. I think so, but I'm not sure.
I'm still here.
Do you want to give a little bit more information about SOAR?
Yes, the information that I put out before. So, as first time in college students, you are already a member of our SOAR program. And so SOAR, again, it stands for Student Outreach and Academic Relationships. So, what that means is just what it says. We want to form a relationship with you, the student, to guide you along your educational journey, to see you through to not only the next semester, but through graduation. So our next event, as I mentioned, is going to be on April the 19th, and this will be in the Anderson Student Center. It's our SOAR social. With that social, you'll have an opportunity to get some hands-on assistance with getting registered for your next semester. Financial aid will be there, academic advising, um, uh, other staff members will be there just so that you can form important connections with people around campus. And it also gives you a chance to fellowship with other first time in college students. So you may meet your bestie there and you guys can go through this journey together. But again, it's an opportunity for you to come ask questions and get registered and prepared for the following semester. After we do have, that's on April 19th, April 24th, we will have an event also where we'll have puppies on campus so that you can relax and pet the puppies as you prepare for your final exams. So have a chance to relax and rub on the puppies and love on. Let's see, am I missing anything else, Julie? Again, I'll
Yeah,
put
the one thing I want to tell you guys that is a benefit of SOAR, if you're on all of you are a member, and if you are active in it, you qualify or you can put in for a $500 SOAR grant.
yes.
It's not in your first semester. You have to. It's for your second semester, and or subsequent semester. You do have to file the FAFSA, and the reason is because we want to make sure that you know how to file the FAFSA, because we want you not just to get $500, but more money if you qualify. And if our scholarship process is open, we ask that you also submit a scholarship application. Again, we are trying to teach you how to pay for your education, but we will give you that $500 scholarship as long as you are active. So that's another reason to come check out the SOAR Social on the 19th, because Charlotte and Morgan, who coordinate the program, will also have all those applications available, and we'll be working you through that process as well.
Yes.
Like jumping off to the body yet. Bitch, I'm a demon all the like.
Is there someone that had a question?
I think someone was just talking.
Okay.
Mariceli, we can't hear you. You're muted.
You're muted, Marceli.
Thank you. Just want to make sure that everybody knows we are here for you. Please, please, please reach out if you have questions, if you're confused, if the first day of class you don't know where to go, if you're not sure where your class is going to be, how to access it. Especially that first day, it's always a little bit confusing, trying to figure out and making sure that you have everything that you need. We are here for you. Please reach out. Let us know what's going on with you so that we can do everything that we can to assist you. If you go online to the CTC website, for those of you that are going to be taking classes here in our Central campus, I'm going to say this. Go online, map out where your classes are located, figure out where you want to try to park. Don't think that you're going to park right next to the building where you're going to be taking your classes. Plan on coming early so that you can figure out where find a parking spot, walk to your class, make sure you have enough time to do all of that. Make sure you're parking in the right spots, that you're not going to get in trouble for parking somewhere you shouldn't be. And just give yourself enough time, especially that first week. Don't come in here rushing, thinking, and even for your online classes, if you're taking online classes, that first time you log into your class, take your time going through everything. Allot extra time to be able to figure out what you're going to need and how you're going to do everything. Don't think that you're just going to go ahead and do something super quickly and that everything's going to be good and fine and dandy and that it's all going to be done. Please, 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 always allot extra time to study, allot extra time to do things, and make sure that you have everything that you need as soon as possible. If you're not sure how you're going to do it, make sure that that you ask the questions early enough. That's a lot of the things the faculty have mentioned. And I will tell you, during the pandemic, as soon as we had to close down, the faculty was had such a hard time. They were trying to get a hold of all of their students and they were not responding, and they felt so bad because they were trying to figure out how to make sure that you guys were going to be successful in the madness that was ensuing. So please, 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 take your time, do what you have to, and get it right. Quality over quantity. That's one of the things I always like to say. Do good work. Do the best that you can. Actually give your best foot forward at all times. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, I'm just going to give you another reason. I don't know if you heard about it, but as you're starting at CTC and you start going into Blackboard, I know Dr. Reese did a fabulous presentation, gave you some of the highlights. Each Blackboard can be kind of different for each course you go into, and it can be kind of overwhelming if you're not used to looking through that and knowing all the different tabs that you need to go in and where you need to look for stuff and what all was there. You can ask for an individual Blackboard session with one of our academic tutors in the academic studio. And we will do it online, so it doesn't matter where you are located in the world, or you can come in and we will log into your accounts and show you how to manage it, where to watch for things, where to look for things, how to download things, anything that you have. Because that's the first thing that can be a little overwhelming if you haven't worked in those. And I know most of you have at this point, but it can be different. So I want you to know that resource. If you need that added support, make sure you reach out and let a tutor help you.
Yes. And this is worldwide, guys. This is
Worldwide.
not just here in Texas. This is not here where we're at right now. This is worldwide. We are here for you. And if you don't know, I'm telling you, I have had meetings with people in Japan. I have had meetings with people all over the world. It can happen. It takes a little bit of time to figure out when's the best time to do it, or and how to schedule it, but it can happen. And if you're not sure how to do it, we can do it. Reach out, talk to us. Don't let us out of the loop. Don't keep us out of the loop. Keep us in the loop. And you might be surprised. You might think like, oh my God, this is too personal. I don't know how to handle it. I don't want to talk to them because it's just too crazy. For the most part, we have heard almost everything. I promise you, I have heard almost everything, at least. I'll speak for myself only, okay? I have heard almost everything because I understand that things happen. And I prefer to deal with it before it becomes a problem. This is where the conduct officer starts talking. Don't wait until it's a problem, where then I'm starting to get referrals, and then that comes all kinds of, paperwork. I do not like paperwork. Larry, do you like paperwork? Because I don't like paperwork. I really, really don't like paperwork. The sooner we get it dealt with, the sooner we address it, the sooner we figure out what the issue is and we can help you figure it out, the better, because I am that gal. I want to help you now. Like, if you don't know what's going on, I want to help you now. So, yes, come Ask questions. Let us know what's going on. Any other questions? Anything else? Comments, thoughts, ideas? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for being here with us today. If you feel like you are ready, we hope you are. If not, remember, we are here for you. We look forward to seeing you around our campus or our virtual spaces. We hope that you are able to come participate in some of our virtual events, in-person events. We have a lot of stuff going on in the future. Check it out in our website and in our social media. We are here for you. Once again, and thank you to everybody that has participated, everybody that has been listening or that has actually talked to all of you, the students, and we will do whatever we can to help you. See you around. Have a great day and a great start of your classes.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks, guys.